Hi all, welcome to the channel, welcome to the workshop. We now have the next 4 issues of Build Kit from Knight Rider. Should be an exciting set of issues because we're going to be building the control watch for Kit and we have lots of wiring to do. So hopefully we can get some life out of Kit. Here we are, issues 43 to 46 of Kit. These are the pile of parts that we get. With this issue, we did also get our free gift eventually. If you were one of the first subscribers, I believe this is what when you get car. So, 1/43 scale. Nice little model. So, that's our free gift this time round. But what we really want to do is concentrate on the big one. So let's carry on. Put that to one side. So kicking off with issue 43. And as you can see in this one, we have a lot of wiring to do. And it looks to be that we're just going to be plugging into the circuit board, joining wires together. So not a great deal to do, but we're going to get a lot of spaghetti at the end of it. So this is what we have. We have some LEDs. We have some we have a split wire. Looks to be an extension wire. More LEDs. And some more LEDs. We also have some GM screws in that pack. And in this pack we have another LED. A double LED. That's on a grey and black wire, and we have a extension wire, another grey and black wire there. Another single LED on a red and black wire, and a couple of extension cables as well, also labelled. And in this final pack we have a motor with some quite nice metal gearing in there. Focus. Looks like quite a good quality motor. We have a couple of clips, and we have the extension cable for the motor. And we also have some stickers. Now, the instructions do say lay it out on the left hand side, the picture. However, with the car facing that way, is actually on the right hand side. So I'm going to do it as the picture says, not as the instructions say. So I will turn it around just so that the cables are on my side. First thing we're going to be needing, it looks to be the motor. So we've got the extension cable for the motor, labelled MOT. And we're just going to plug the motor into that one. that's step one. They don't want us to do anything with that just yet. The next thing they're going to do is ask us to connect two other cables together. So next thing is we get our LED labelled K, and we get our extension label also labelled K, and we're going to be joining those two together, just like that. Again, put those one side for a minute. And we're going to get the motor cable, and that is going to go into the circuit board. And there's one just here, very last one on this side, labelled MOT, and that's where we're going to plug this one into. And I'm just going to lay it out to the left hand side, or the right hand side of the car again. Just move the car over a little bit, and you can see a little bit better. And then the other label, other wire that we connected earlier, labelled K, that's going to go, surprise surprise, into K, which is this one just here. Just like that. I think I'm just going to lay that out like that. Next we're going to be getting our cable labelled W and our short cable labelled W, and we're going to join those together as well, like that. And then we're also going to need our LED labelled E. We have two of those, and we also have a splitter cable labelled E, and we're just going to be joining those together, one like that, and one like that. So we've got the two LEDs then on that cable there. And then they are also going to be plugged into the circuit board, so they say they start with W, so that's what I'm going to do as well. And W is this one just here. Now I am just checking that is W because the diagram does show it's that one. There's GHIJKL, and by recognition that one should be M, but M is actually just here. I've just found it, so that is the correct one to go into. And then we're going to take our E cable and I'm going to plug that into E. Now this one is actually a different connector to all the others, so we've got a slightly bigger connector on this one. Trying not to tangle all the cables together. And next we're going to get our grey cables, our grey one with two LEDs on, and our grey extension cable, and we're going to just join those together as well. Just push those together like that. And we're also going to join up cable P and P. And we're going to be putting cable P into slot P on here. So we're really populating the circuit board now, and we're going to get our clips. And we're going to basically tidy up some of these cables, it seems. So just having a look. which ones. I think it's all the ones we've just put in. So the 5 cables that we've put in, this is why we've put the ones to the left, or to the right. I'm going to keep saying left because that's what the instructions said. So the cables that we had originally are all in the right, these ones here. The cables we've just put in will go out to the left and to the rear. And we're going to take our cable grips, we're going to put them into, we've got a hole here and a hole here. So these 2 holes that are slightly raised. And we're just going to secure those cables, bunch them together and secure them under that cable grip using the GM screws that we were given. Alright, so just get our cable clip on the GM screws. Just going to bunch these together. And we just screw that one in there. And then we're just going to keep that bunch together over here. Second clip. And then we've got these stickers. So as well as the cable clips, we need to put a couple of these stickers to help protect the wires. So I'm just going to pull them through very slightly, and they want us to put them just parallel on there. And one just here. I don't know if that will show if I wrap that around underneath there for a minute, but I might cut that off. But that's what we need to do for those. And then finally, for this stage, we need to get our cable labelled M that we joined together earlier. And we're going to be placing that one into slot M, which is this one closest to the speaker that's still free. Just like that. And that's the end of stage 43. So now moving on to stage 44, we have even more wires. So just going to put those to one side. And the first things it wants us to do is basically do a bit of cable management. So the labels, the wires labelled M and A, they want us to put down to the right side of the speaker. Sorry, the left side of the speaker. So I'm just going to pop that on underneath that speaker cable. So that's cable labelled A, and we've got the grey cable labelled M that we put in on the last stage. Try not to get them too twisted. So they're going to go like that, and then the cables labelled B and R, which is this grey and white cable and this green and white cable, they want us to run it down the right side of the speaker. And then it looks like it's going to be joining those, matching those up like this. And then we're going to be using one of the stickers to put it over the top of this just to keep those in place. So we've got 4 of the stickers in this issue. we're going to stick that just here. So that's stuck down just there, just this side of this join. We're going to continue that on and stick a few more stickers down the centre here. So we've got those two other labels stuck in place just to hold these cables in the centre. I've tried to keep them as flat as possible, and we just moved those out to the left hand side there. Next up, we're going to be getting our cable labelled F. This is a 4 cable, and we're going to be plugging it into the cable here. The socket on the motherboard here. Can't really get this one wrong. It's the biggest slot on the board, I think. So plug that one in. Next up we have cable G, and that one's going to plug into slot G. That's going to be followed by H. Going to follow that one up with O. I have J. And then we have L, which is this bottom corner one. And then we have D, which is a little switch. And D is hidden down here by the speaker. And we have 2 more cables left for this pack, which is I and V. So we've got I going into the larger one here, and we have V at the top left of the board here. And that's it for stage 44. Taking a little bit of a break away from wiring, we're now moving on to issue 45, and we have the watch assembly. Now, this doesn't come with the battery. It's a 2032 battery that you're going to need. So if you don't have one laying around, what you need to do is go steal the wife's car key and take the battery out of that. And so it goes in to the top like that, and then it's got to clip into place in the bottom, just like that. And you can see that the tabs are all located there. Next we're going to be getting our little dials and buttons, and I believe they aren't keyed uniquely, so you do need to make sure you get them in the right way around. And it's the one with the dials on goes in this side. This one's labelled 45E, and this one is 45D, and that one goes into the right side, just like that. So it will look like that. Next we've got our 3 buttons here, and they just go into the 3 holes that you can see either side. One in there, one in there, and one in there, just like that. Okay. Next we're going to grab our battery. It's got an arrow on it to say which way it needs to go in. We're just going to slide that in, just that, and then we're going to be placing this face down into the watch assembly. You may need to just wiggle those buttons just so that they sit properly, and there's a good time to just double check that all those buttons will press and activate like that. And that's all there is to do for that. We do need to put an FP screw in there to hold that in place. This is a very tiny screw. It's just going to go in just here. So that circuit board is now securely in there, and you can see that these are working, and look, you can see they have a little display on there. Now this is the fun point, because at this point we can now test, and it's actually wanting us to do that. So let's bring Kit back over. As you've seen in the previous video, I do have a power mod for this. However, I do have the batteries to hand. It's probably a little bit easier at the minute. So just rest those ones in there. We also need to grab our scanner light, and we're going to be plugging that into cable A. We do have a little diagram in here that tells us what should happen when we press each button. So we're going to try a 45C. That's the engine button. So that's the engine sound button. We've got sound and light scanner. We have the sounds and voice button.
Tu entends la voix d'un ordinateur qu'on a désigné comme le K.I.T.T 2000, le kit si tu préfères.
Right, I was not expecting that to start talking French at me. So, as it happens, we can change that. So we've got another little bit of information on here to change the language. So let's see what we can do. So to change the language, we need to press this button for 3 seconds. That'll give us the channel option, and we need to select channel 2. And let's try the voice again.
I am the voice of Night Industry 2000's microprocessor, K.I.T.T for easy reference, a KITT if you prefer.
So let's go with the music. Right, and let's try the lights and sounds with this one. Now I can hear the motor running. I don't know where the motor's gone now. That's over there. We do have a little diagram here that shows a light test. So I'm just going to work my way through that one. It says press dial 45E on the wristwatch. Turn on LEDs on wires 44B, 44C, 44H, E, F and D, and 44I, located on the rear right of the car. These wires are marked with the cables J, L, O and I, H, G and V. So let's find cable J, and we'll tick them off one by one. Right, that's cable J, that one's lit. L, and we've got another one that's lit, got 2 LEDs on that one. We have O, also lit. That one's I, got a couple of SMD type LEDs on that one. That one's H. Oh, that one's V, I managed to grab there. That one there is G. So we're all good on that stage. Check the LEDs on the cables 41, 40 I, J, L, G and E. These are marked E, P, W and K. They're the ones we secured first of all. So we have cable E, which are the 2 red LEDs there. P, W. And finally for that set, we have K. The next ones it wants us to check. LEDs on 42G, 43B, the front of the car, marked with the labels R and M. So that'll be this one. The grey one is M. So we've got two LEDs on that one, and it's the green ones that are R. So both of those work. When the dial 45 is pressed, the motor on the cable 43C is also activated. The motor rotates anti-clockwise. When dial 45E is pressed, again the motor stops and rotates counterclockwise. So let's just check that. So we've got the motor here. So this one should currently rotate. It should rotate clockwise, which it does. And that's also been turning off. And then we'll check the motor again by turning it on, and this should now rotate anti-clockwise. There we go. So that's the motor working. Right, so cable labelled F. Now it says that the switches should operate these lights. So the one's labelled B, and as you can see, it does. And we'll just check the other door switch, and it does the same thing. That's perfect. And then we have the cable labelled D. I think it's the only one we haven't checked in this bunch of cables here. Cable labelled D is actually the switch, sorry. And the lights labelled E should get brighter when pressed. And they do. I'll just turn that light off a second. So these would be the brake lights. You can just about see they are getting brighter. Same with these ones here, because it's the split cable. So that's the end of all the testing. I believe everything is working. And we've already checked the front scanner, which is the last option on the list. So I'm very happy with all that. So we now just need to finish off the watch, which is in the next issue. Okay, we're just going to finish off this exciting set of stages with just finishing off the watch. So these are all the parts we get with the watch. Obviously the watch from the previous issue. We have the two halves of the strap. We have the back of the watch, which is plastic. First I thought that might have been metal, but it wasn't. We've got some FP screws, and they are absolutely tiny screws. You'll have to use a PH00 bit for those screws. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to be getting our watch strap here, placing the little collar over that, placing the pin in the space just there. This pin will then go through just like that, and then we need to line that up with that, and then we need to compress the spring on this pin to just get that to click in. You see there's a spring load at both ends. Just about to see. Now this is the point where it will just fly across the workshop. Not a big problem for me because I've got loads of these watch pins. However, you might want to be cautious where you do this and where you're pointing the pin. So that is now looking just like that. We're now going to be adding that to the watch. So we're going to just be placing that in there, and this one in here. You want the long strap to be to the right with the 2 buttons here, and then the shorter strap that side. Yes, the battery is missing. I've had to give that back to the wife. So we're just going to screw that in. I'll get a battery for it at some point soon. I've done the testing, so I'm happy with that. And then we're just going to use the FP screws and screw this together. And I said these are very, very tiny screws, so I'm using a PH 00 bit on my screwdriver. Other people have asked about the screwdriver. It is in the link. There is a link in the description below for it. But that is now the watch complete. Well, that was an exciting set of issues. KITT now has a voice and lights. Can't wait to see what comes next. If you want to see more of how KITT progresses or anything else that goes in the workshop, please remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you enjoyed this video, also remember to hit that thumbs up, and hopefully I'll see you around.